All right, General Motors may be one step closer to unloading Saab so it can concentrate on its core brands. A person close to the situation says the Swedish sports car maker Koenigsegg Automotive has emerged as the frontrunner in the Saab bidding contest. Bloomberg editor-at-large Jerome Levin covers the auto industry for us. He joins us from our Detroit newsroom. And Koenigsegg is pretty obscure, but also pretty darn cool.
Well, it's been known as one of the most beautiful cars. It goes something like 240 miles an hour. It's one of the fastest cars. It's essentially a hand-built car in Sweden by a guy named Christian Koenigsegg, and it's a small country. It borrowed a lot of technology from Volvo and from Saab. They help each other over there, so he knows the Saab operation. The information we have right now, Matt, is sort of sketchy, but we think that Koenigsegg might be part of a consortium. There might be some Norwegian money. More details are going to come out pretty soon, but it's good news for people who like Saabs if there really is a savior there.
It's interesting. Christian Koenigsegg is kind of a blue-blooded aristocrat. He already had money. He wanted to start a sports car maker. They hold the lap record on Top Gear, if anybody watches that BBC show. Why would such a niche player, luxury niche player, want to come in and buy a car maker like Saab?
Well, people who are at the fringes of car making often want to get into mass manufacturing, and we see this trend emerging now. For instance, Magna, which was a parts maker, is buying Opel. They want to get into Opel manufacture, and if Penske succeeds with Saturn and making a collaboration with a manufacturer, he, in a sense, might be a manufacturer supplying Saturns through the new Saturn distributorship. So we've seen this before, and it's not that surprising that somebody like Koenigsegg, who is really building hand-built cars, now might want to get into mass manufacturing.
Let's talk about how GM benefits or gets hurt from this sale. What happens to GM in this case?
Well, GM will essentially unwind from this. I can't imagine that we're talking about a lot of money on the scale that GM operates, but it will resolve this. It will resolve. It is really more meaningful, I think, for the Saab dealers around the country, several hundred Saab dealers who may end up having something to sell, a car to sell. In terms of GM, this is one more competitor for them. So it might, if Koenigsegg is very successful with this and does export to the United States and expand sales in the United States, this is going to be another competitor for GM, Ford, and Chrysler, and all the others here. Let's talk about,
speaking of very cold countries in the north, Volvo is also in the news. What's happening there?
Well, they're for sale. There's supposedly a Chinese bidder. Ford wants to get rid of Volvo, needs to get rid of Volvo. Would have been getting much more money for Ford had it done so 2 years ago, but now, of course, prices are depressed and credit is very difficult. So no new developments on Volvo as far as we know, but Ford is going to make sure that it gets sold soon.
And much like Ford versus GM, I mean, Volvo comes from a much stronger sales position here in the U.S. than Saab.
True, and it I think is sort of a repudiation of the strategy of the 90s, which was to buy brands like Saab and buy brands like Volvo and Jaguar and supposedly improve them and make money with them. Ford put untold billions into Volvo, never really getting much out of it. GM got Saab in something like 1990 and had it for 20 years. Never really broke it out, but a lot of people said they never made money with it. So it's best out of GM's house right now.
All right. Hey, Jerome, thanks very much for joining us. Bloomberg editor-at-large, Jerome Levin. You can read more about any of those transport stories or, of course, any of our stories on our website at Bloomberg.com. You can also, if you like, make positive or negative comments about the show. And you can inquire, as one viewer has just asked me, how to get Bloomberg on your iPhone. Go ahead and write the comments in there. They'll get back to you. Or maybe I